Lynch was born in Spokane, Washington, and made the small town of Auburn, California his home base between 1971 and 1975. Twice Lynch auditioned for the position of Ozzy Osbourne's lead guitarist, once in 1979, losing to Randy Rhoads. Lynch said, "I won the consolation prize. Randy got to tour with Ozzy, and I got to teach at his mom's school." He auditioned again in 1982 to replace Brad Gillis. According to Lynch, he was hired for 3 days before Osbourne changed his mind and decided to go with Jake E. Lee. Lee noted that Lynch got the gig, but only went on the road for 2 weeks to watch the show and never actually played with Ozzy. Lynch stated in an interview that he played soundchecks at the side of the stage on a European tour with Osbourne and Brad Gillis as part of an extensive audition. He also rehearsed with the band in Texas, but was let go by Osbourne as the band moved operations to Los Angeles. Jake E. Lee auditioned on the day of Lynch's dismissal, and while Lee admittedly didn't play well the day of the audition, he looked the part and was offered the gig. Osbourne fired Lynch on the spot in front of Lee, whom Lynch had just met. Lynch was devastated and was struggling financially in those years. He had been working as a delivery man for a liquor store and was required by his employer to have short hair. Sharon Osbourne fancied Lee's look over Lynch's playing, and her influence likely finalized Osbourne's decision to hire Lee. Lynch played in a late 1970s band called the Boyz, working the Sunset strip clubs in Hollywood alongside Van Halen and Quiet Riot. The Boyz also featured future Dokken drummer Mick Brown, bassist Monte Zufelt, and vocalists Lisa Furspanker and Greg Sanford. Their sound and Lynch's playing were so similar to Van Halen that one of their demos was circulated as a pre-Roth Van Halen recording. The Boyz were set to play a showcase for Gene Simmons and his startup label, but Van Halen opened the show and Simmons opted not to stay and see the Boyz. Lynch subsequently formed Exciter before joining Dokken. Dokken had a string of successful platinum albums that prominently featured Lynch's inventive lead guitar work. The instrumental track Mr. Scary on Back for the Attack contributed to his popularity among guitar players. The band earned a Grammy nomination for Best Metal Performance in 1990. The group parted ways in March 1989 due to internal tensions with lead vocalist Don Dokken. Lynch formed his own hard rock band Lynch Mob, which differed from Dokken in lyrical and guitar complexity, subject matter, song structure, and tuning. Lynch took time off when his wife Christy Lynch had a baby girl, Mariah Lynch. Lynch released his first solo album, Sacred Groove, in 1993. After Don Dokken, Jeff Pilson, and Mick Brown reunited in 1994, they decided to bring Lynch back as well for a true reunion of Dokken. The reunited version of Dokken was signed to the Columbia or Sony label, and after extensive writing released Dysfunctional. The album did not do as well as expected and the band was dropped from the label. Dokken then signed on with CMC International and released an unplugged show performed in late 1994, titled One Live Night. The band entered the studio in 1996 with producer Kelly Gray, who wanted to take Dokken in a new direction. To the dismay of vocalist and founder Don Dokken, the resulting Shadow Life was a complete switch from melodic rock to a more alternative sound. Tensions again flared between Don Dokken and Lynch in 1997, leading to Lynch being replaced by former Europe guitarist John Norum. This prompted Lynch to reunite Lynch Mob, which entered the studio and demoed 3 songs later, released as an EP titled Syzygy. Band member Logan decided to pursue other projects before a full album could be completed. Mick Brown decided to stay with Dokken. Lynch organized a short 13-show U.S. tour for Lynch Mob in 1998, with Artention frontman John West, Anthony Esposito, and others. When that lineup dissolved, Lynch decided to take Lynch Mob in a totally new direction. The Lynch Mob's radical new look, new lineup, and musical approach attracted a younger audience. They released the album Smoke This in 1999. After the supporting tour, Lynch decided to put Lynch Mob on hold for a couple years. But not before he toured with Lynch Mob's original singer Oni Logan, LA Guns bassist Chuck Garrick, and Bullet Boys drummer Jimmy Dionda in late 2001. Lynch began working with producer or engineer Sean Fodor on the ill-fated Microdot project, which featured then-unknown vocalist London Legrand in early 2002. Only a few songs from that project have been released: Bulldog Tyranny on the Lost Anthology and 3 other songs Lynch later released as The Lynch That Stole Riffness, with Robert Mason taking the helm on vocals. Lynch reformed Lynch Mob in late 2002 with original bassist Anthony Esposito as well as Robert Mason. Lynch Mob recorded an album of re-recorded classic Lynch songs from Dokken and Lynch Mob, updated to a more contemporary approach and sound. Lynch formed a project with former Dokken bassist Jeff Pilson, releasing the Wicked Underground album in 2003 under the name Lynch or Pilson. That same year, Lynch put together the George Lynch Group, with which he has continued to record and regularly tour. The George Lynch Group performed a marathon 26 shows in 30 days, including a much-talked-about feature on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Let the Truth Be Known was released under the band name Souls of We in 2008. Lynch embarked on a tour in the early fall of 2008, with a reformed Lynch Mob featuring original singer Oni Logan, bassist Marco Mendoza, and drummer Scott Coogan. A new Lynch Mob album titled Smoke and Mirrors was released in October 2009, with Logan handling lead vocals. Lynch recorded lead and rhythm guitar tracks in 2009 for 7 songs that appear on the debut album of rock singer Raven Quinn. The self-published album was released March 2010. Lynch toured the spring of 2010 with Souls of We, and spent the summer and winter touring with Lynch Mob. In the summer of 2010, Souls of We changed their lineup and were forced to discontinue with the name. Lynch appeared on a tribute album, Siam Shade Tribute, for Japanese rock band Siam Shade in 2010. Lynch currently lives near Los Angeles, where he created an instructional guitar website, The Guitar Dojo. Lynch produces his own custom hand-built art guitars, marketed under the Mr. Scary Guitars brand, which he makes himself at the ESP Guitars USA Custom Shop facility.